Hello and welcome to my impromptu stream on a new series. Today we are doing the British Match Play Scrabble Championship 2014 Round 1 between Simon Gillam and Jayne Mackenzie. And today I am joined by none other than my little sister, Natasha.
Hello. Hello.
So, I doubt anybody's going to realise this is live because we're literally just testing it out. But should we get started, Tash?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Go.
Let's see if I remember this game, because apparently this is a game I annotated. Way back when.
Way back when.
Way back when.
Way back when. Okay, so the opening rack, ACOORWS.
Yes.
It's one of those things where you've got the clunky letters of the C and the W, and you've also not got too many pleasant vowels to go with them, right, Tash? So really,
but essentially,
yeah.
I see kind of maybe two choices here, potentially. Like either just sticking with cow, and then you've got the S if you pick up nice letters for the hooks, or just crows and get rid of both the clunky and the duplicate.
I would potentially keep the S though, because crow, I believe, takes an S on either side. So there's no real problem with doing crow. I mean, of course, it's impossible to get rid of both the O's and the C and the W. So you're really relying on a decent enough pickup. But I feel like either crow or cow is pretty good. I mean, if only one of those O's was a D, we'd have cowards. Like, our move choice would be sorted, we'd be fine. But we're not fine.
Okay.
So let's see. Championship player has decided that the word cow is best.
Okay.
She's just like, fine, who cares? And you know what?
I mean, I'm not a championship player, what do I know?
Well, cow was played anyway.
Okay.
The best cow was played.
Okay.
So, Jayne's rack now has got triplicate teeth. It's horrible, isn't it? Too many T's spoil the rack. So be a thing, shouldn't it?
Too many of anything spoil the rack.
Does that include blanks? Too many blanks spoil the rack?
Potentially, because sometimes two blanks is not where you want to be, because, like, you know, they've both come at once kind of thing. But then it stops your opponent getting them, so it's like,
And the brain fart, right? And the brain fart. So really the whole problem here is with this board is you've really only got two lanes to play in. You can either play across row 7 or play across row 9. You can't play along the left-hand side of the board. And like, just looking at this rack on the board, you're not playing through the O and you're not playing through the W. And you're not playing through the C either, because, yeah. So, really, you need to find a player that gets rid of duplicate T's, and then one of F and G, and then hopefully you've sorted yourself out, right?
We'd hope so. Unless you pick up more T's.
Yeah, unless you pick up more T's, but there's only 3 left, so the likelihood is pretty slim.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you see a 4-letter word with 2 T's in it?
Might be completely wrong, but is Taft a word? Or is it...
Taft is not a word, no.
Okay. It's fet, isn't it?
Yes, it is fet. F-E-T-T.
I remember something.
She remembers something. It's a miracle.
I remember
miracle.
Gosh. Oh.
But
I don't even remember the last time I played Scrabble.
Me neither, but there we go. So what FET does is it gets rid of the triplicate T's, it gets rid of the F. I mean, even though TAG, you know, it's all right. It's not the best leave, but it's the best you could do with this rack. But the other advantage is that FET will take an A, and you've got an A. That's really good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from the fact there are still 8 more A's to come, so it's not really like an exclusive opening. But you've got those A's.
Yep.
So let's move on to the next rack then.
Okay.
So after cow, we still have the balance there. The balance is still there. I mean, ORAS wasn't a terrible lead. This pickup was just not too pleasant though.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is here, you need to get rid of the Y, and basically you need to split up the Y and the I. Y and I are terrible together. They're not very good. Just completely like ignore them.
Just don't go there.
Yeah, just never go there.
Yeah. And you've also got duplicate R's, so looking to get rid of one of those as well, but it might be hard.
And R and O's are also not very useful, so you're going to want to get rid of the O's as well, if you can. Well, the O, because there's only one of them. There's no plural here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, ideally it would be wonderful if we could get a word all the way across the triple along row 8. It'd be really nice if we could find a 5-letter word there, but there just isn't one. Well, there is one, but it burns your S.
What is it?
Sorry.
Oh.
It's like, sorry, I'm burning the S.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
I mean,
here
I would definitely consider sacrificing the points to keep the S.
Yeah.
So
it's still early on. There's,
yeah.
Like, you know, you've got the scow hook, or the cow hook,
the cow hook. And you've also got the theta hook.
Yeah.
So ideally, you want to play a word that may create more hooks, or makes or just doesn't give too much back or burn through too many tiles. And the Play Championship player suggests is Ori, O-A-R-Y, above cow, making oof and or. Now see, I like that play because it creates hooks on either side of oof as well. So whereas of will only take a T and an F, your hook of oof now creates an additional hook on either side, which is really good, isn't it? It slightly limits the theta hook, but that's not such a big thing. What it does do though is really limit what can be played across row 8. I know you shouldn't really be thinking about defense right now, but it's always
that kind of player.
It's always something to think about what you block. So don't just think about I'm opening X, Y, and Z. What does it block? What does it limit? What does it prohibit? All these words ending in it. Right, let's move on then. Oh no, let's not move on. Let me actually get the play right. That would be a really good thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The word was sorry though. The word played was sorry. Now I don't really agree with that play. It burns the S. It takes it's one of those things. It's one of those leaves, but it's not necessary to play for points at this stage. I mean, the argument is he may not have seen Ori, but I think Ori is just far superior in terms of leave and in terms of keeping that S and in terms of making decent hooks to the board. So, next rack finally. We've got beautiful letters here. A V and a W now to go with that G.
Oh.
But we've drawn an S. Drawn an S.
Oh, that's nice.
She says. So here it's like you need to get rid of the V and the W. Or you would like to get rid of the V and the W. I'm not sure it's too possible on this board.
No.
Not without burning the S anyway. And not without sacrificing a chunk load of points.
Yeah.
So one of the players that gets rid of both the V and the W is Wavy, which scores 13 points onto the Y of Sorry.
Oh, I see.
Now, the leave is alright. The G messes it up slightly. The leave is relying on you picking an N almost. An N and a vowel. And then you should have a bonus. But relying on picking certain letters is kind of not the way to go.
Nah.
So,
what do you think of that with oft?
what do I think of that with off? It's really, really defensive.
Yeah.
And I think on this board, unnecessarily so. I mean, I'm feeling Wavy as a play. I don't like the hotspot it creates. But I prefer the leave to all the other leaves that it's kind of going for.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to get rid of 2 of G, V and W. That would be my priority. What I do with them, not quite sure. But ideally, if I get rid of 2 of them, I should be in good stead to get a bonus.
The board, I don't consider the board to be very VW friendly right now.
I don't think boards are usually VW friendly anyway. So another move that does actually get rid of the 2 of VWG is WAG at H7. What that does, it does create the S hook on the end of WAF. And that's good because you're creating a second S hook. So if your opponent does take one of the hooks out, because most words end in S, you've then got 2 places to play a bonus ending in S. And sometimes having 2 openings for a bonus is really, really good because it means that if your opponent gets one, you're almost guaranteed to get one back if you have the right letters. Now, of course, ISTV isn't the best leave, and you rely on an E almost to make that better, but it's a better leave than most of what else you're leaving.
Okay.
So WAG.
So would you play WAG or Wavy?
I would probably go for WAG, weighing it up.
Okay.
Weighing it up.
Yeah.
So Simon's next rack is pretty gross. It's got a Y. It's got 2 I's. I mean, it's literally gotten worse.
Yeah, it's vowel heavy as well.
Yeah, vowel heavy's never really great. Of course,
especially with Y.
Yeah, especially Y's and vowels are just terrible together.
Yeah. I mean, then duplicate the E's, duplicate the I's. Not very great, considering you can't have IE. You still can't, which is a shame. Oh well. Never mind, we move on. We live life without it. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. Bear with me.
Well, of course, if we were playing, if this was CSW 15, the dictionary, we would be able to play IE, AIYEE.
Oh yeah.
That would be really good because IE, it sorts out all of your rack problems. It sorts out.
It does, doesn't it?
It leaves IG. It sorts out the rack problems. It scores. The problem is it's just not valid in this dictionary that we're playing.
Oh.
CSW 12.
Dictionary, you have to ruin our plans all the time.
Yeah, what a ween. What a ween. So what do we do knowing that IE isn't a word? Well, we need to unduplicate the I's.
I completely forgot about IE, so...
That sounds like you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to work out a play that gets rid of preferably a Y and an I, and then anything else really is a bonus. I mean, there are moves here that score enough that mean you don't need to change. Like, for example, Yagi at 10k.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, is Yagi a word, or am I making that up? I do that a lot recently. Because I just don't.
You've always made up a lot of words, though, whenever we're talking. You always do that.
Yeah. He was like, I'm sure I've heard this somewhere. And then turned out to be wrong. I'm like, oh well.
Of course, a floating T would be the best, so we could play Yitie. Y-I-T-I-E. That would be the best move. But unfortunately, there's no T. I mean, that's pretty much like what you're always like. You're like, darn, if only I had this letter and I would have like an awesome bonus, an awesome dumping play, awesome everything, and then it all goes to pot. Now, championship players come up with gayest as its top play. Now, I don't like that move because it leaves AII. And
I see.
the leave is really bad. Yeah, making wage. Gayest and wage. Yep, at 4K. Or K4. There's also it's also second, third and fourth moves are Irie, Airy and Airy through either R of sorry. Now I don't particularly like that either because those are better than gayest, but I don't particularly like those either because AIG is kind of but then all these leaves are pretty bad, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not the best. So it's kind of like,
I mean, you can do your best, but at the end of the day, if you pick up rubbish, then your rack's always going to be rubbish.
Oh yeah. So I would probably end up going for one of these Iries here, one of these three choices through one of these R's, because the leave is just better than everything else that goes there. Of course, if IE was a word, I would go for IE, but it's not a word. And Simon plays Yagi here, making sty. Now, I don't particularly like that play because I believe sty has an end hook. I believe. Don't quote me on this. I need to double check.
I think it did as well.
You think sty takes a hook as well? What do you think it takes on the end?
I think it's either an E or an S.
Well, it doesn't take an S.
Yeah, I
So
guess
it's an
that.
E.
Is it an E?
Yeah. Well, of course, Simon did keep his E. Or two E's, in fact. He kept two E's. But
I think I just remember this game. I remember that sty being there, I think.
yeah, and now the biggest thing is Jayne is really likely to have an E a lot of the time.
Yeah, but she doesn't, so that's good.
Well, it's good for Simon anyway, because she can't score what would be a pretty easy 20-30 points there. And that's the kind of opening that I think is unnecessary.
Yeah, it'd be worth it for a bonus.
Yeah, it'd be worth like way too much. So
you could even squeeze it to a double if you tried.
So what do we do with Jayne's rack now?
Well,
you want to unduplicate your I's, you want to unduplicate the S, and you want to get rid of primarily the V. But also, if you're going for a bonus, you don't want to limit the board in such a way that you can't get a bonus. Right?
Yes.
So, I would always be tempted here to play the word visit and scowl. And I know this is really, really, really defensive. It blocks off the top left of the board. And it feels like the board is forever going to be stuck like that. But I like it. It creates the bonus lane down column E. It limits the double to some extent underneath with sty. I like it. I don't think other people will, but
I was looking at it and I was like, no, that's probably not right.
Well,
because you're limiting the WAFs, like the 10 lane, and you're taking out the scowl hook, but then
you are holding duplicate S's.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the other option is playing this at either F6 or F10. Now, so you leave IPST on your rack. That's a pretty decent leave. It's not terrible. Now, Championship player really likes this at 10F. And then second best is Visit. And then third best is this at F6.
You know why probably this at 10F is good? Because it doesn't, because let's face it, bonuses usually end in Fs.
Yeah.
Usually, in my experience anyway. So it keeps the scowl. I'm playing this with wafts.
But then Vis and Scowl also, Vis and Wafts also keeps the Scowl hook, and Vis and Scowl also keeps the Wafts hook. But the advantage of this is that it limits the double-double. It basically cuts out the double-double completely. What am I saying? But of course...
Oh, sorry.
Of course, I do prefer Visit. I do almost prefer that explosion of kind of... That's kind of not the way I usually play, but I prefer Visit for the turnover as well. Not sure why. Can't explain why.
I just think it's still early on in the game. Turnover should still play a part because you're trying to get the letters to get blank and friendly letters for a bonus.
But unfortunately here...
He will be nice.
Unfortunately here, Jayne plays Vis and Styes.
Ugh. See, because I remember that coming off.
And it's coming off. And...
Yes! My memory is not useless! I think...
So basically Jayne's lost her turn and now she's lost the tempo. She could have easily taken the lead, drawn a bonus even, by playing... She had the right idea, she played the right letters. It's just she made a phony and Simon was smart enough to challenge it off. So yeah. So what do we do here with Simon's rack? Because clearly Simon knows that Sty only takes an E. One would think now, because he knows it doesn't take an S. So you're gonna definitely use that E hook now, aren't you?
Well, I hope so, if you know it.
So what word would you play there?
Well, I don't think there's bonus.
Line number 1. There is a bonus.
There is?
Yeah, don't worry, I didn't remember it either. I don't know it.
Well, if you don't know, how am I meant to know it?
If I don't know and you don't know, and you don't know and I don't know.
I don't know. And who does know?
Well, not Simon, I can tell you that. He didn't know either.
Oh.
That what I just said is something that Tash and I used to watch when we were kids. There used to be a kids show like that. Wasn't
it like Bits and Bobs or something?
Yeah.
You know the two there was a purple and a yellow, or a yellow and purple like fluff ball thingy.
Yeah.
Remember that? I don't even know what that was called.
And then they were like, what is this object? It's a toilet. Probably not a toilet, but it's a toilet. Yeah. It was crazy. But anyway. So, ideally any play...
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, I've literally just googled this.
What?
Okay. It was literally called Bits and Bobs.
Yeah.
And it was a little pink, like, kind of fluff ball thing, and a red and yellow fluff ball thing.
Gotta love fluff ball things.
Yeah. It was called Bits and Bobs, though, and I think it was called Bits and Bobs. Anyway... Back to the Scrabble.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear about like our childhoods and stuff. Probably. So I brought all the championship players up. The best play by far is the bonus, the only bonus.
No.
Leffied.
Again?
Lethied, Lethied. If you skip ahead, it will show you.
Okay.
The second best player is Diether, but this is generate choices. And I don't like Diether because it's too open and it leaves the sty hook open and it's not worth it. All the other plays kind of like Hilted and Lied. They're really good. They go underneath making sty. They score almost 40 points. It's really good, and the H is something you want to get rid of. It's not particularly bonus friendly all the time. You really have to stick it at the front of a word or in the middle. You can't stick it towards the end, and you want tiles on your rack that are really flexible. Now Simon here plays Edit, and I think this is almost a mistake. It's almost too defensive, his play of Edit. It's worth being slightly open here. It's worth going and playing more tiles for turnover, especially as you know that she's holding an S, and if she was going to bonus, she was going to bonus. She would have known it. She doesn't have a bonus. But also, I would assume she doesn't have an E, because, as you should always do, you shouldn't assume that your opponents don't know words. So I would assume that she's not got an E, otherwise she may have played sty.
I think the double word score being there was too tempting.
Yeah, it was definitely too tempting, and the fact that your opponent could then play there as well, that's just really risky. But of course, playing Yagi paid off for Simon.
Yes.
So, Jayne's new rack. Well, Jayne's old rack that is now appearing to us.
I think I'd just go for Visit now, like just due to turnover and due to scoring that tiny bit more. I mean, it's still like 4 points more, but it's still a tiny bit more, and you kind of need it.
And also, the blanks are still in the bag.
Exactly.
You know, the turnover is good. You know, you're leading PS. Ideally, it would be nicer if you could keep one of the eyes, but unless you're going to play Spibs here, then I like Visit. But the thing is, with Spibs, it scores 45 points. And is 45 points something you're really going to give up on? Considering Visit is 27, Spibs is 45, but is it worth burning those extra S's for it?
I mean, IT is a good lead.
Yeah, it is, but the thing is, there's only 1 S and 2 blanks left in the bag. You know, I mean, for some reason, Championship player likes just playing Spiv here. I don't. It's far too dangerous. It's far too open. Never do that. The second best player is this. I suppose this and Wafts is quite a good play here because Scow is left open and Styes is also left open, and it'll be very hard for your opponent to block both without scoring just face value. So I like this here. I would sacrifice the points of Spivs to play this, and hopefully draw some decent tiles for a bonus.
And why not Visit?
Because Visit limits more of the openings, I feel.
Okay.
And Visit also closes off the top left quadrant of the board, and because Jayne is behind, she may want to keep that. She may want to allow that quadrant to be open rather than just blocking you. But she does in fact play. She does in fact play Visit.
Okay. And look, Simon has a blank.
Magic blank.
Dun, dun, dun.
But unfortunately, no bonus because he's drawn the J as well.
There's nowhere on the board there's no kind of hot spots for the J right now.
No, there isn't. It's not the best board in the world for having a J. But you can score 23 points with the J and leave a relatively decent looking rack for your next turn. And that play is Geely. J-E-E-L-Y. Onto the Y of sorry. Now I like that because because it can set up your H for next turn if you want to go fishing, and any play that is made there is only going to be 2 tiles. So any play parallel down column N is only going to use 2 tiles. And when you only play those 2 tiles, it either looks like you're fishing. What did you say, Tash?
Oh, I thought my Wi-Fi was breaking up or something.
Yeah, it was.
You drifted.
Yeah, but let's ignore that. I was talking about.
Okay.
Sorry. So what I was saying is any play down column N is only going to be 2 tiles, and even though your opponent may get 20 odd points from it, they're only playing 2 tiles. So they're either fishing or they're just trying to take out the hotspot and not really bother about their rack and stuff. Now it seems I've completely missed the fact that visit takes an E.
Visit takes an E?
Yeah, visit.
Where?
Visit.
I never knew that.
I'd completely forgotten as well. But no,
I didn't even know it in the first place.
Me either, I think. But anyway, a play making Vizzy is... So the best plays are Gillam and Jill making Vizzy. Of course, Jill not leaving the J above the double word square is better than Jill that leaves the J above the double word square. Geely comes out as 3rd best. Now, all of those plays are fine. They're absolutely fine. If you don't know Vizzy, Geely is best. If you do know Vizzy, Jill is best. But unfortunately, Jill completely kills off all the openings. Now, of course, Simon is ahead. He's going to be ahead by 50 points. He probably wants to do that because he's going to be aware that Jayne needs to make an opening to get back in the game. And right now, that opening isn't on the board. So a play like Jill, even though it's really early in the game, it's not even halfway through yet. A play like Jill starts to close the board down. It starts to control it. Starts to dominate. It's fine. Agreed?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Ooh, Jayne picked blank.
Yes, she did. She drew the other blank. And she also had some 7s. Oh no, wait.
Yeah.
Gotta go back because Simon did in fact not play Jill. He played heel. I'm really bad at this. I'm really sorry.
I was distracted by the blanks and the bonus nice looking rack.
I know, and you distracted me with that as well. He actually played heel. So by keeping the J, he's really limited his bonus potential next turn. J's are really awkward to bonus with. You almost always have to start your bonus with the J. And ideally you don't even want to have the J on your rack when you're trying to bonus. You just don't. Just no. No.
No. Just,
no.
I mean if it just happens and you just have a bonus with the J, that's lovely.
Yeah,
but essentially no.
Yeah. So Tash, are you seeing any 7s here?
Am I seeing any?
Yeah. Well, of course, ideally here, you look at the rack, you've only got 1 vowel. Start by looking at the blank as a vowel.
Oh no.
See, blank's going to be an A, an E, an I, or an U.
Is scamped a word?
Yes, it is. Scamped is a word. So
it is.
Where are you going to put it?
Well, we're going to... Oh, you can put it down beside a heel, can't you?
Yes, you can. And that scores 100 points.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I'm
not useless. I do have a good memory. I can still play Scrabble, even though I haven't played it in.
Scamped here gets 100 points. It's amazing. Decamps are also from D4, scores 93 points. And then Scamped, if you've not got great board vision, Scamped gets 74. Now, ideally, you should be seeing one of these 3 bonuses here. Like I said, if you immediately say, right, I need to make this blank vowel, you make the blank vowel. You've got 5 choices to make the blank, right? You've got A, E, I, or U. It's not going to be an E. I doesn't really go well with these letters, so it's A, O, or U. Well, start with A. Well, M and P go really well together. S and C go together. You plonk the A in the middle. Scamp or scamped. Oh, look at that. We can score 100 points now. It doesn't take that much thought. For me, personally, it doesn't take too much thought to be able to find a play like that. It's just how you go about thinking about finding that play. So if you look at the whole rack and you think, right, there's got to be a bonus here. Go through the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're gonna end up looking at the letters that you know don't make anything, and you shouldn't be wasting your brain power on that. Now, there was just one problem with this. Jayne didn't play any of those bonuses.
What?
I know. What? And that's kind of a really big
I bet she's kicking herself now. She's watching this.
Yeah, kicking herself. Because the thing is, Scout would take her a full bonus ahead. Take her 60 points ahead. But unfortunately, she plays Peck here. P-E-C at D11.
Oh, sorry.
Your flatmates are shouting.
If you can hear me flatmates and you, I'm sorry. I apologise. But it's difficult living with 7 other people. And the hall is echoey. I apologise. Moving on.
Yes, we're going to move on to the next flag. It's really disappointing how the bonus was missed, and it was a really good bonus as well. And it's one of those plays where if you miss it, it really does change the game. I mean, if you miss something small, like a position that maybe wasn't obvious, it's not that bad. But when you miss a bonus, especially one that scores 100 points, it's gonna come back to bite you.
Yeah, I think, I mean, just the scoring wise, like Jayne would be so far ahead, and now Simon would have to catch up. Like the tables would have completely turned if she'd played the bonus.
Definitely. But now Simon's got this rack. He's got the J and the V on it, and he even though the H may not have made such a big difference if he was going to pick the same letters anyway, it's still a horrible rack to be looking at.
It's not very nice. I mean, you're thinking about bonusing, yet you're thinking about this J and the V, which are just horrible for bonuses, and you're just like, no.
And Simon is really lucky he's not 60 points behind here.
Yeah.
But somehow he does actually have a playable bonus.
He does.
He does. Through the E and the L. I'll give you a clue, Tash. Think Olympic sport and really long bendy stick. She's got it. She got javelin.
Okay.
Javelin is by far the best play here. It's a bonus. But of course, what do you do if you don't see javelin?
You try and get rid of the J and or the V.
Definitely. Primarily, you're going to get rid of the J. The V is a lot easier to bonus with than the J.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what are you? So what are you going to do with that J now?
So if I was looking to not bonus, you kind of have to use the J with the A.
Because J and I don't go really well together, and you'd have to play DJIN, and that just doesn't go on this board. Of course, if you do see that you can, if you do use the E and L on the board at D12, you're probably going to see javelin. I doubt you're going to play javel or javelin without putting the ED on the end. Of course, all of those plays are better than something like jar at N6 or jivey at 05. Now, I like jivey at 05. That probably leaves the best leave out of everything that's not the bonus.
True. Yeah.
because it gets rid of both the J and the V. A and D blank is really good. You're leaving the majority of the floaters open that should be open. I mean, you've limited the Y and one R offside, but you've got another R and you've left peck open to do something with. Simon plays jar here.
Yes. I think that's a typical me move.
Typical Natasha move.
Yeah, like missing the bonus and just dumping the J for 26. I mean, not to like be horrible or anything, but I can see myself playing that move.
So do you feel ashamed that you missed it? Or missed something better? Yeah. Skip ahead.
What, that? I missed javelin.
No, skip ahead. Do you feel ashamed?
Oh.
She actually found it eventually. So
I was confused. I was like, are you talking to me? I wasn't playing this game. I was amateur, I wasn't playing it.
But anyway, there are bonuses here. And
easily.
And you need to make sure that you're seeing the bonus. Now, of course, here it really helps if you know the hooks to peck.
Which I don't. That's nice.
Yeah, of course, we all know it takes a K, we all know it takes an S, but it also takes an H. So ashamed fits really nicely underneath with the M on the lovely triple letter square.
Oh.
It's really good, isn't it?
How much will that score?
Score a lot. Scored 97 points.
That's great.
You could say that makes up for missing Scamped. I don't think so.
Kind of.
But being able to score
like
as many points.
Too late.
Yeah, it's a turn too late. But being able to score almost the same number of points as Scamped is pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Come on, championship player, do your
Would you say the position of the blank is better? Like, I probably started with the blank.
I would probably put the blank A here, and that's because it's one less point for any parallel play underneath ashamed that is likely going to happen. It's less likely your opponent's going to play on the left hand side because you have to play fewer tiles there and it scores less. So ideally your opponent next turn is going to have played taking that middle triple under the D of ashamed.
Yeah. Okay.
So the other possible bonus here is Derhams, Derhams, which also scores 97, making Pesh. But interestingly, ashamed starting with the A gets you is worse than ashamed with the second A as the blank by about 2 equity points and 1.5%.
Well then, that just sums up me in general. Always seeing the worst play.
Don't worry. At least you saw A play, right?
I probably would have eventually. I'd have started with ED at the end probably.
Yeah.
Tried to.
And you would have noticed shamed and you would have had a blank and you'd be like, I shamed.
Yeah. Well, you'd like to think so.
I would like to think so, definitely.
No, how the brain works.
So Simon's next rack. He's not really drawing the letters he needs after his missed bonus.
Dumping that J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty unfortunate. So what are you going to do now? You need to get rid of some consonants, and you need to take out that triple hotspot. How are you going to do that? What are you going to play? Well, you definitely know the area of the board you have to play in. I mean, there really is nowhere else here. you're not really missing a bonus. You really just need to get rid of the V here as well. Unfortunately, any leave that you try and do is terrible. And you don't want to exchange this, so you're going to have to put up with a terrible leave. You know, just to be able to try and claw back some points as well. Because you don't want to be scoring so few points that Jayne gets momentum, she starts going 50 ahead, and then you know, starts getting further ahead because you keep drawing rubbish to your blank and you can't catch up. I play like div here, it's fine though. I mean, LNN blank is a horrible leave. It's horrible. But I prefer Lind here, Lind. Former first baseman of the Toronto Blue Jays, Adam Lind.
Yeah, it's the second half of the building here. Building here on campus.
See, what Lind does that div doesn't is unduplicate the ends and plays more tiles. Now, of course, the V is horrible. The V is horrible. But getting that extra tile of turnover and splitting up the ends is so much better.
Completely.
Though div is played.
Oh.
I feel like I keep disappointing you.
Well, like, to be honest, I saw Lind because I was like, oh, okay, the V can't go down there, so I just shut off the V from my mind. I forgot about div because I'm a div, so.
Oh yeah. So what happened with this next rack is it has been noted that Jayne overdrew with this next rack, and Simon actually turned over the R, the I, and the N.
Oh, this is my great annotating. Look at me. Look at me with these guys.
Yeah, and Simon put back.
I'm proud of you 2 years ago.
And Simon put back the R. Now, of course, you know, he doesn't know what Jayne's got. You know, there's no. Because he doesn't know what Jayne's got, he can't really think which tile would be more useful to put back. Because the thing is, R, I, and N are all great tiles. They're all 3 of the letters of retains.
Yeah.
Which means that it really doesn't matter which you put back. Unless you're really desperate to have a letter in back. Now, I would definitely not put back the N. Because there are 5 N's still unseen. And so long as you'd assume that maybe Jayne has another N. So giving her duplicates or maybe triplicate N's is really good. There's only a few eyes.
Doesn't Simon have an? Like, Simon kept 2 N's by playing div.
He did.
Didn't he?
But I'm only giving my opinion.
Okay. He probably doesn't want to put the other N in the bag to pick it up.
That could be true as well.
Okay.
But of course, sometimes there is a strategy to dealing with overdraws. Sometimes it's just like, well, I've got to put one of them back. And especially when they're so balanced like this, sometimes you've just got to just pick one and really just be like, because you shouldn't really be thinking about it so long.
How long can you think about it?
I have no idea.
Is it actually a rule thing?
It should be.
Because I feel under pressure to choose a tile and choose.
I think it has happened in the past where some players have taken a couple of minutes at least over an overdraw, and it's been off time and it's been almost really unfair. So I can't remember if the rule got changed.
That's fine.
Yeah, but anyway, we should get on with discussing Jayne's next rack.
Yes.
Her next actual rack, minus that R that she drew too many cards for. But she's drawn an A. She can hook on the front of Jar now. And
she can indeed.
There really isn't anywhere else on this board to play. Looking at the rack, looking at the board, nothing fits too well together. Like, of course, there are 4-letter words ending in A that go to jar. Can you think of one? Should I give you a clue?
Like, can you have Tika with 1K?
You can, but that's not the best move here.
That then.
Should I give you a clue?
Yeah.
An electric type Pokemon. Well, the real animal that this electric type Pokemon is based off of. Yes, Pika. Pikachu is actually based off a small, furry, cute little animal called a Pika.
Okay. That's great.
I want a Pika for Christmas. They're cute.
I think Pika actually is something offensive.
No, I'm pretty sure.
The language.
I think it's a cute little animal, Tash. It's a cute little.
Huh?
I think it's a cute little animal.
Yeah, but
I don't care. Leave my fantasies of cute little Pikas alone. Pika.
Yeah, it's not a very nice word in for example, Icelandic.
Do we have any Icelandic people watching this stream? I'm really sorry if the word Pika has now offended you.
I apologise.
We apologise for our use of offensive Icelandic words.
I saw it on Facebook and someone was like, "Oh, it means something bad in Icelandic." So, anyways, about Pikachu.
The best play here is Ki, Ki, for 24 points. Now, of course, Paint is a really good lead, but there's nowhere to bonus here, so I feel like a play like Pika is much better. But the 4th best play is played instead, and that's Kina. Now, what I like about Kina, which is something that I learned a long time ago, is a lot of words beginning with QU can also replace the Q and U with the K. So for example, quinin, Quinin. You can have kinin as well, Kinin. You know, you can have quite a few words like that. Not all of the words are like that, but quite a few are. So if you've ever got to try a word beginning with K, think about whether you can have it with the QU as well.
Oh, my flatmate just said hello. I don't know if you heard.
I heard, yeah.
Okay.
Should we move on to Simon's next rack now? His racks just aren't getting very much better, are they?
No, I mean, I think he's still got those 2 ends, and he needs to, split those up if he can.
Unduplicate them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are we going to do that?
With great difficulty, I don't know.
The board is becoming increasingly blocked and tight.
It is.
And Kina has also added to the blockness. It's blocked the top half of the board again.
I think maybe Jayne kind of to do that on purpose, maybe, because she's leading.
Yeah, of course. She's leading by about 40 points. A bonus here, you know, one, a bonus is really unlikely, and 2, you know, she's gonna have the turn ahead to come back in points, and Simon's gonna be forever trying to catch up. But he's not having the greatest of luck with this blank.
I hate it when that happens, because it's like, oh my god, give me a bonus already.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
And
he's only got 1 vowel as well, which isn't the best.
Yeah, so he has to play his vowel here to get rid of these tiles.
Exactly.
And if he's trying to bonus, he's got to make another opening, but the opening can wait until he's got better tiles.
Yeah.
So here he can play something like Find at 12H, making Stide. And that has the advantage of playing 4 tiles, it unduplicates the ends, it gets rid of the clunky letter in the F. It does really well, and it scores 21 points, which on this board is very, very good. And LN blank is it's a relatively decent lead considering the rack you find yourself with. But there's not really much else you can do. Championship,
I don't think I'd want to do.
Championship player is suggesting flick at 13A. I don't like that. It keeps 2 ends. It blocks off the A. We're only playing 3 tiles. I don't like it. Find comes in second. A cute play of frigid at M7 comes in third. I also don't like that because it keeps duplicate ends. Lind, Din, Dawn. Yeah, I like find here. But here, Finn was played for 12 at L4. Now, other than blocking a Q hotspot, I really don't know. I mean, of course it's got the best lead. But what are you going to do with it if you pick a bonus? You're going to have to then fish and make openings, and you're going to fall even further behind. So, it's something you really have to think about. When do you open, and when do you keep it tight? And what do you play when you're trying for a bonus? It's really important to think about that. Should we move on to Jayne's next rack?
Yeah, I was just thinking with his letters, I didn't think he could do a lot in terms of opening.
No, Simon couldn't really make many openings. It was just at this point for him, it's just about playing tiles and trying to get balance. So Jayne's rack.
She's got a double end problem as well.
Oh, yeah. That's a turnip for the books, isn't it, Tash?
Yeah.
Tash is like, you're not learning these puns from Benji again, are you?
I saw that this time.
Well, does turnip play? Does it play? It does play.
Where?
Column D.
Where's D? Okay. Oh yeah, with P8 guy.
Bye, yeah. A Greek letter of the alphabet, I think. I never learned Greek alphabet. Now, what turnip does is it blocks the only 7 lanes on the board. It blocks... I'll just demonstrate this on the board. It blocks the only...
It is a Greek letter of the alphabet.
Hooray! Okay. So it blocks the only 7 lanes on the board down column C and column D. Of course, the 7-letter word still fits down column C and column E. But column E is impossible now. Column C is really unlikely to have one fit perfectly down it. Now, unfortunately, it does give back a floating T, but at this point, any bonus through that T is only going to be face value, and it's going to score maybe 58, 60 points. And the only other thing you're leaving open is the A of ashamed, and you're going to get triples back from bonus played there.
And an A in that position isn't the greatest.
No, it's not the greatest either. So turnip here is the best play, and that's what she plays.
I was just about to say, as I remember, to think she played turnip without looking. So yeah.
So Simon's finally drawn a decent looking rack now. He picked up 2 E's.
Yay! Well, that was incredibly lucky.
Yes, but there's just one problem now. There is nowhere decent to play a word on this board.
He's probably going to end up going through that T.
He does, yeah. Do you see a bonus through the T? There are quite a few bonuses through the T's. There's stuff like Dateline.
I'm not doing it, so.
Dateline, entailed. Entitled. There's quite a few. But of course they all score under 60 points. And considering how long Simon has held on to that blank for, he's only going to be 2 points ahead after this bonus. And that's quite unfortunate. Now there is actually a bonus through the A of Ashamed, but of course that is a lot worse because it opens up a triple.
Comeback. Yeah.
For a big parallel triple comeback. Score slightly more points.
What is the bonus through the A?
Endemial. Endemial. I assume it has something to do with being endemic.
I'll find out. Endemic.
So we've got Entoiled has come out as best. Lint Seed, Listened, Lintled, Denticle, Dentiled, Lintled.
Yeah, it's something to do with endemic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Entitled and Entailed come right at the bottom. I'm not quite sure why Entoiled comes out as being like a full 5% better than Entailed. I mean, it's literally just an A difference. I think Entailed may take a front hook though, but I'm not sure. But either way, Entoiled is fine, any bonus is fine. There's really only 2-point difference between the two. And there's not very much you can do about them. Oh look, there's Dateline. Right down there, it's pretty rubbish. Shall we move on? We are moving on. Despite the non-reply from my sister.
What? I'm here.
I asked you if we should move on. And you didn't say anything.
I think I said yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember you saying yes. Okay,
so I said it.
So Jayne's rack. Jayne has drawn.
I heard some Wi-Fi dots or something. You know, when it's trying to connect.
Yeah. Then you probably didn't.
That might have happened.
Yeah. So Jayne's drawn the X here. But unfortunately, she's drawn 3 O's. Now,
why? It's not always bad with the X because you get Oxo.
No, the O's are very good. Where does Oxo go?
It goes underneath Entailed. Or the letters.
It goes also at A15. Hitting the triple.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, I want to sing that eventually, I hope.
Yeah. Now, the one almost slight problem with Oxo there is that it leaves the E of Entailed open, and you know, the A in that position isn't really a risk, but the E I would feel is slightly more of a risk, especially as it would give Simon the potential to play another bonus for it. Though, considering
you could argue that she's got to come back on the triple, on either triple.
Yeah, she would.
After that, and as well, the scores are really, really close, and it's coming relatively close to the end of the game. You want to try and keep the pressure on.
And now Oxo
you can pick anything out of these 7 letters.
Oh yeah. Now Oxo here scores 41 points, so Jayne would be she would be 39 points ahead. So she'd be half a bonus ahead. Now the second best play for Quackle is Rue, R-O-U-X, underneath Entailed. That scores 42 points. Now the slight problem with Rue is that there are still 3 O's unseen from Jayne's point of view, and she doesn't really want to leave 2 O's on her rack and open herself out to picking more O's. And the bag at this point has 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 vowels in it. It's slightly vowel heavy. It's not too bad, but it's ever so slightly vowel heavy.
Yeah.
But I think either Oxo or Rue are completely fine here. She plays Oxo though. She plays the best move, according to Championship Player.
Okay.
So, Simon's racks aren't really getting much better, are they?
No, they aren't, are they? I mean, it's not... I mean, he's had worse.
He has.
I think.
He has.
He has had... Okay.
But he's got a lot of vowels and he's got duplicates here.
Yeah. And with the S as well, you kind of do want to score with that, and you can't with these letters.
But what he has got is the case S. He has the final S.
Oh, yes.
So, Keela will take an S, won't it?
Well, it should do.
So, he can use that opening down column O. And, you know, any deficit he should be able to almost wipe out. The other problem is he's got a load of 1-pointers here, and with no real way to score because he's got mostly vowels, he needs to find a good play. And that good play may not necessarily exist. He wants to get rid of definitely the E and the O. The U here is also not very good for rack balance. But even though there's a Q still to come, there are 2 U's on the scene, and there are places to play the Q on the board, so that shouldn't be a big worry right now. I would definitely consider EUOI at A8. And that also has the advantage of giving an additional place for the Q with one of the A's. Now, I like doing that because it scores and leaves a better lead. Now, Quackle Championship player prefers OE at 12L for 16 points. Unduplicating your letters, keeping a great balance. And the bag is ever so slightly consonant heavy.
And I suppose it does keep the U.
Yeah.
For the Q. I know you said it's not a big problem, but it's sod's law that you play the U, you pick up the Q, so...
Yeah, so maybe keeping the U might, like, reverse psychology the tile fairies or something.
Who knows?
Of course. Who
might
knows?
Double block.
Let's move on then. Simon does indeed play OE to 16 points. And Jayne has... what looks like it could have been Simon's racks earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, you just yawned.
Sorry. I tried to style it out.
Tried to style it out, it didn't work. Oh dear.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. So here, Jayne is 23 points ahead, and her rack is particularly consonant heavy. But at this point, she just needs to make sure she's not making stupid openings. You know,
and as well, like as you said, the bag is constant. Is it constant heavy?
It will be quite balanced now because Jayne doesn't have vowels.
But I still wouldn't want to get rid of like both vowels and have a problem because the scores are still really close.
Well, you could get rid of both vowels so long as you play enough tiles to warrant getting rid of both vowels.
Yeah, but on this board, maybe not the best idea. I'm not sure.
Well, it depends what you're playing. Now, of course, you could play through the E at H4 onto the triple, but maybe you don't really want to be making an opening like that. I mean, you know, you're giving floaters back, it may not be the best thing, but at the same time, if Simon has a bonus, he's likely going to be able to put it through the E anyway. But possibly the best thing you want to do is not create a place for a 7-letter word.
Yeah.
Because 7-letter words, I feel, are a lot more easier to get down on boards than, say, 8-letter words. Like, I've always struggled with words beyond that 4 letters in length. So you can see why I'm like, just give my opponent 8-letter word, they'll probably screw it up as much as I do. So, championship player here likes Baron at 3F, followed by Labour in the same place. She then wants to proceed to play Boner at H1, followed by Borel for 21 in the same place. Now, I think either of those top 4 plays are fine. They all have the downside of making what you could consider an unnecessary opening, but there really isn't much choice. The 5th place play is Nor at 13M. I mean, it's one of those things. I think a play here is it's hard to work out what's best because it depends what you're trying to guard against. So I feel like Jayne's play of Labour here is fine. All she's really got to do is hope that Simon doesn't have a 7 to come over the top, because if she doesn't then have the Q or the Z, she may be slightly screwed for scoring afterwards. Simon's track. He's drawn a 7-letter word.
He has?
Outside.
Oh, I see.
But it doesn't fit.
Oh, what a shame.
Do you really mean that?
I don't know.
She doesn't mean that.
I don't even know.
Okay, so what are we going to do here? Well, you want to score with the Z, right?
Yeah. Could you play, Zeitz from 01?
You could, but Zeitz forms an unacceptable word.
Oh, great. Is it what, Keeners?
No, Keeners is fine.
Wait.
So Zeitz isn't a word, Tash. You need to learn which of your Z words don't take an S.
Oh, I don't.
But a play like Tozes, T-O-Z-E-S, goes down there for 54 points. But of course...
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
But
no, it wasn't.
But of course, you can score almost the same amount of points without burning your S. So it's not worth burning your S to get those points. So what I mean by that is you could play a play like Zibet from H1. It scores 48 points, Tash. It's a lot of points.
Oh,
it's only 6 points less than Tozes.
How many's in the bag?
There are 7 in the bag right now. And it looks really unlikely that Jayne is going to bonus from what's left. Especially with that Q in there, and it just doesn't look very good. Now, Championship player does think Tozes is best. And I'm guessing the reason why is because it leaves UI. It's very, very synergic with the Q that's left. So Simon would have no worry with the Q. He will take a slight lead as well. It then likes Tube for 18 points from H1 now. I suppose it's trying to bonus at that point, but I don't think.
What's the point?
So for a player like me, take the points while they're there.
Yeah.
It then likes Toes at J12, T-O-Z-E, not T-O-E-S, Tash. That scores 41 points, Toes and Dive. And then it likes Zibet. And to be quite fair, I'm starting to warm to Toes. I'm starting to think like it's a good move. It also has the advantage of blocking a 7 across row 2. And that's something Zibet does as well, but Tozes get slightly more points, and I don't know, I'm starting to warm to it. I can't quite work out why. Should we just move on so I don't have to question my own inner feelings?
Yeah.
You
said yeah that time.
Yes, I heard you say yeah.
Oh.
So Jayne's now 9 points behind, and she's drawn the Q.
Simon played Zibet.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, I don't think we mentioned that.
Simon did play Zibet, yeah. I'm really sorry.
I mean, I am swinging on this chair, like spinning on this spinny chair, but I am still paying attention.
She's making sure that I'm getting the right plays down. Thank you for that. This is terrible. So, of course, Jayne has drawn the cue. And she's drawn a lot of consonants to go with it. And it's kind of one of those feelings where she probably knows she's got to play the cue here.
Because I wouldn't really want to keep it. I mean, there's no I's left. I mean, you've got U's.
Yeah.
But I just don't think the board is very cue friendly.
No, it's not. So when the board is not really cue friendly, you should always consider, okay, if I don't play the cue now, when is my next opportunity to play it? Especially as it's coming into endgame. You do not want to get cue stuck. So you've always got to consider, right.
It's so tight as well.
Yeah, as well. The board is so tight, and that stops a lot of cue plays from happening. So if Jayne doesn't play the cue here, she's then got to consider, well, what if Simon blocks all my potential cue plays? What am I going to do about it?
Yeah, because the only QI is the one at C8.
Yeah, but Jayne also has Quern from B2, Quern. Now, I really like that. It scores 32 points. It may create a 7-letter bonus opening, but it relies on Simon having
the right letters at the right time.
And having a word that starts with a vowel. Now, I feel like that's quite unlikely. It's possible, but it's also unlikely. And of course, at this point, I feel like I would be relying heavily on my opponent not having a bingo. I feel like Quern is the right play here. It scores, it gets rid of the Q. It puts you in a great position for endgame because there will only be 3 letters in the bag at this point after Quern. And your opponent would then be forced to play 2 tiles or 4 or more tiles, really. And when your opponent plays only 2 tiles, they're not going to score. So that gives you the chance to score more in reply because your opponent's not scoring those points themselves. Championship player here suggests that room is best, R-O-U-M, which I didn't know. I suppose that just blocks off any last remaining bonus opportunities. I'm not entirely sure there are many opportunities through the Z. But of course, anything that blocks either the Z or the U seems to be coming out best here. Sorry, the Z or the E, not the U. And that's what all of these top players are the top 6 or 7 players are all considering that. I do like Quern. I mean, it's got a 79.5% win percentage. So,
I mean, they're pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That's good.
Damn, that's good, man.
You don't want to ignore that, no?
For some reason, she does.
Oh, what a shame.
She plays Zol for 12. I don't
think QI is better than that. No?
Yeah, QI also blocks the E if entailed. So I think the Z is a much less risky floater and there's no real reason to block it. Especially, you're now leaving your only vowel with the Q or U. And if your opponent blocks that E, it's like, well, what are you going to do now?
That bad.
That really bad.
That bad.
Let's move on and see if Simon can take advantage of this travesty. Calamity. My accent's so bad there. I apologise to anybody that accent may have offended. Because I feel like it's offended myself. It was a terrible accent, wasn't it? Have you ever acted with that kind of accent?
I don't know.
Well, the answer is clearly no then. So let's move on to Simon's terrible looking rack with
terrible noise outside of my room.
There are 5 vowels. I know it sounds like there is as well. There are 5 vowels on Simon's rack.
It's distracting me from the Scrabble.
There are 5 tiles in the bag. And at this point, I would feel like I could safely say Jayne is not going to bonus. So what you need to do here is you need to plan for your endgame. You need to leave one tile in the bag, and you need to make sure that you could somehow outscore Jayne. Now
and you need to think about if the Q is still in the bag as well, because Simon wouldn't know that Jayne has the Q.
Yeah, but also he's holding 2 U's, so he could safely get rid of a U here and not have to worry so much about a play here. Now looking at the tiles that are left, you've got 3 A's, a B, and E, and then 2 N's, a Q, an R, another R, and a U. So I would feel like my biggest Q threat play is Quai. Q-U-A-I. Or is that pronounced key? I'm just going to call it Quai.
If you say Quai, then people know what you're talking about.
Maybe. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But either way, that plays from A8, and that's cost 39 points. And that I feel like that would be my biggest risk to this board.
Yeah, because if Jayne would do that, then she goes even more ahead. And I think on this board it's pretty difficult to score.
Yeah. So I feel like playing EUOI, blocking Quai, is a really good play. It gives you the best opportunity to limit her scoring, especially as you know, she would need to have Q, U, R, and N to be able to play Quern then. And also, if she is holding the Q, she's then also forced to play an A to get rid of the Q now, because you also blocked the only QI spot. And if you pick up the U, sorry, the Q, you've got a U. It's fine. It's
all good.
So Quackle's second best player is Ogie's from 01. Now I don't like that because it leaves 2 U's and it empties the bag. I don't think that is a good choice here, even though you can safely say she's probably not got a bonus. I don't like that. The next 3 plays seem to play too many tiles. I think EUOI is the right play here. But Simon doesn't play it. He goes for a play that Quackle Championship player says has got a 17% point win percentage difference from EUOI. He plays an huge play here. EUGE, it's huge. That was bad.
EUGE.
Yeah.
It's a word.
It's a word, Tash. It's a word.
Okay, I'll believe you. Many people wouldn't. Like me.
Oh yeah.
Where's that going?
Making dive. Just skip ahead. We'll move on to the next one.
Right. Okay.
So here, Jayne's got a really nice balanced rack here. She's got the Q and the U. She's got an A and an E for points. And you know, she's Quern and Quai. So Quern and Quai, or Quern and Key, depending on how we're pronouncing these. They're both still open and they both still score enough points. And I think either of them is fine. Especially as you don't know what you're picking up. Quern is probably slightly better because you leave AME and you're drawing 1 tile from the bag, so any of the consonants will still work really, really well. Playing Quai, you're relying on drawing a vowel, you've got more tiles to try and get rid of, it's much, much tougher. So I think the choices are between Quern and Quai here. We know where they play. Quack Championship player is speeding along and it likes Quai the best. And it only loses 1 in 8 games, I think. Yeah, pretty sure that's 1 in 8. Yeah, about 1 in 8. It wins 87.5% of games, which is 1 in 8.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And then Quern only wins 50% of games. I would assume that's because some bonuses go down the side of Quern. but also you're relying a lot on your pickup.
Yep.
So, you know, quiet is best. What is played? Quern, yeah. So now Jayne's relying on the right letter to be in the bag. It's only a 50% chance of being right. So, and also she's lessened her opportunity of going out next turn. So that's not a particularly great move. There is Simon's rack. It's actually given me the right rack. Yay! So we can see that Jayne has left Beam on her rack. B-E-A-M. Does it go anywhere? I don't know. But we need to work out how to win. Now, I don't see where Beam goes right now. I'm not entirely sure it does go anywhere.
I do apologise for the noise outside of my room.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah. So here I'm really looking at taking either the 01 hotspot or the 011 one. Basically, any play ending in S or starting with S, I think is perfectly fine here. You'll then be leaving 2 tiles on your rack. You'll be able to go out. I really don't think Jayne is able to play out here. Can't see if she can. I'm looking and I don't think she can. And any play like Sauna, that scores 24, or Auras, that scores 27. That brings you level or ahead by 2 points. If Jayne then can't play out, she's got to try and outscore whatever you can score. And you've then got to work out her best play, which is probably something like Bam at C10. That scores 7, 10, 15, 17, I think.
Or even like Bam at, like, what is that, I11?
Yeah. That scores 19, that scores slightly more. But yeah, so if Jayne's going to get 19 back, you then need to make sure you can score 15 to tie, 16 to win with after Auras. So Auras, 15 to tie, 16 to win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. That's not enough.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. Now I'm not sure that Simon can win, unless Jayne messes this up. Because I'm not seeing anything. Let's see if Championship Player knows. Championship Player says that every single player has got a 0% chance of winning.
Aww.
So of course Jayne got lucky and the wrong letter was in the bag in terms of Simon's point of view.
Aww.
So Quackle is giving a load of plays here that give 2 move playouts. There are quite a few of them. And Simon plays one that's not even on this list. Was it? Or did it just appear there? I think it just appeared there. Oh well. He plays Urouse. Excuse my pronunciation. Plays it for 27 points, leaving AN. It's okay. I mean, the game is lost at this point, so there's not really too much you can do. And now all Jayne really has to do is make sure she gets rid of both the B and the M. So long as she does that, she should be guaranteed to win. Oh, she's also got 3 outs here. She's got Gamb or Gomb at J14. Gambe, and Simon's play has now given her M-bar or Amber onto the R. So Urouse was actually a really bad play in that respect because of course Jayne knows the word Amber, and you think she would go out this turn, wouldn't you? That's kind of why a play like Sauna is slightly better. Sauna blocked the outs, but at the same time, Sauna still wasn't going to win unless Jayne. So long as Jayne played the right move, you know, she wasn't going to win. But she doesn't play any of those outplays.
Why not?
Because, according to your annotation sheet, you said that the B was left in the bag. So Jayne thought she was playing out, and in fact she wasn't.
Okay. Wait, I'm confused.
Okay, so what happened was when Jayne drew her last tiles from the bag after her play of what I think would have been Quern, after she drew those last tiles, she must have forgotten one of the tiles in the bag.
So she would have emptied the bag by playing Quern, right?
She should have taken the last tile from the bag. She didn't, and that's clearly a B. And
yeah, because I was really confused of what I was looking at, because you were talking about she's having a B, and I'm like, this rat has not given me a B.
Yeah. So,
wow.
So what it is, she actually, Simon obviously didn't tell her she had the B. So she goes and plays, and then Simon must be like, there's a B in the bag, and it's like, oh. Of course, with it in the bag, it goes to whoever was supposed to have it, and that was Jayne. So she thought she was going out. She wasn't. And, you know, even though it says 100% victory, she has not in fact gone out. So she's now taken the B. Simon is now 17 points ahead. He only has to score 11 to win. And now he can win. Because
oh my days.
Because there are 4 winning plays. And no doubt he's going to see one of them.
Right, let me find one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I found Anne, Am and Ned at F13. A winning move.
Yeah, that scores 12 points. If you play Na at M13, that's 14 points. Also playing at E4 Anna, that scores 14 points. And also Raun, R-A-U-N, at B5, that scores 12 points, and all those moves win. So Simon plays Na 14 to go out and win the game.
Oh.
That's a really unfortunate way to lose the game. Because,
it is, isn't it?
But it goes to show you should always make sure you're checking the bag to make sure it's empty. And make sure it matches up with your tracking as well, especially before you make that play. Make sure that there's nothing in the bag. Make sure that you're not going to lose the game because you've forgotten a tile in the bag. So, Simon manages to sneak that game due to that technicality. I mean, that's pretty lucky, isn't it? From what was certainly a losing position.
I mean, one small mistake and... Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Goes to show, like, you should always check that tile bag. So, I know there's nobody watching this video on Twitch except for me, but twitching seemed to work fine. I dropped 16.5% of frames, but it seemed to stream fine. I mean, I don't think there was much of a problem with it. The only question is the audio. But anyway, thank you for joining me, Tash.
That's okay.
I hope you had some fun.
Okay. I mean, I remembered some parts of that game.
You did, yeah.
Not the ending.
So now I think I'll let you go to bed. You sound tired.
Oh no, I'll probably be up for another 2 hours or something.
But either way, I hope you enjoyed this game between Simon Gillam and Jayne Mackenzie. This is only a side series because I kind of plan on carrying on with the what is it? BMSC 2014 we were on, or is that this one? This was
BMSC 2014.
This was. So what was the other series we were doing? I can't remember.
BMSC 2015.
That one.
I don't know.
Well, we the other series I was doing basically. Doing that. So yeah. Hope you enjoy. Hope you catch me on my channel again.